Now, family and friends will pay tribute to the late anti-apartheid activist, Dr. Frene Ginwala, at the official government memorial service today. She has been hailed as a champion of justice and women's rights. Ginwala died on Thursday the 12th at the age of 90. She was the first Speaker of Parliament in a democratic South Africa. News elder Dan Moyane, as well as eNCA senior reporter Slindelo Masikane there. Dan joins us for the very latest update. Good morning, Dan. A very important day it is today. 10 o'clock it should begin, where we celebrate the life of this icon, a true champion of women's rights, but a true champion of even just rights, broadly speaking. Talk to us about her legacy.
Good morning, Nomfundo. Yes, we are here inside the Johannesburg City Hall, where, as you've said, around about 10 o'clock or just after 10 o'clock this morning, the official memorial service for Dr. Frene Ginwala will begin. She's also been described as a feisty feminist, and many of the younger generation might not remember, unless, of course, you were part of that liberation struggle or you've been reading about it. She was also a journalist in her early years, and that got her into trouble so many years ago, and that was in the 60s when she was in Tanzania. She helped the ANC set up its office in Dar es Salaam during the days of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, and her feistiness, her commitment to telling things as they are, being transparent and all of that, at some point got her into trouble with the Tanzanian authorities in the 60s, and she was banned from that country. And then she went to the UK, only to be asked again later on by the same Mwalimu Julius Nyerere to come back to Tanzania and continue her work as a journalist. So we in the media should also note that that's the background that she has. I mean, she was born in Johannesburg. She grew up here, studied here, and later on her family went to the UK. Then she found herself in places like Tanzania, as I have said, later on in Mozambique. When I was in exile in Mozambique in the 80s, I had the opportunity to see her in action as one of the leaders of the African National Congress, the leaders of the anti-apartheid struggle, visiting Mozambique and assisting the ANC at the time in Mozambique to do its work. At some point, she remarked that the ANC in the 80s had more diplomatic mission representations across the world, more than the anti-apartheid government of the time had ambassadors and commissioners of sorts. So she was really instrumental at that time. Many of us will remember her for having been the founding speaker of the Democratic Parliament of South Africa, the first ever. She was the first ever woman to hold that seat in the history of the Republic, and she occupied that very important role at the beginning, at the dawn of our democracy in Parliament for 10 years, having served first under the late President Rolihlahla Nelson Mandela, and then later on under President Mvuyela Thabo Mbeki. So that's part of her story. I mean, her history, her role, Mfundo, in the liberation struggle is pretty much unmatched. If you look around, it's a remarkable journey. It's an exceptional journey. And the stage is set, as you can see. Let me move out of shot just to give a sense to you and our viewers what's happening currently here inside the City Hall. Some people have already arrived, and those who are working are busy trying to finalize the preparations for this important official memorial service. As you know, the masts are flying, the flag is flying at half-mast in the country today in honor. And many, just to remind us, Mfundo, she passed away on the 12th of January. She was cremated 2 days later at a private memorial with the family as per her wishes. After she left Parliament, many of us would have forgotten about her. She decided to really focus on herself and her family. So, in a nutshell, I mean, there's much more that one can say about her, Mfundo. I mean, having served in the National Executive Committee of the ANC for the longest time, in several subcommittees, and she was one of the key architects of our Constitution. As I said, she was there right at the dawn. But all along, as you said, she put women empowerment at the center of her work.
Illustrious career she has had, celebrated indeed. Dan will catch up with you as soon as the event does get underway. That will be at 10 o'clock, hopefully at the top of the hour indeed. That's Dan Moyane for us.